April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and never has the state of Utah been more aware of this violent crime than in 2016. For decades, Utah, like many other states, has had a problem with sexual assault kits, including not just the now notorious backlog of these kits, but the destruction of DNA evidence that could possibly put serial rapists behind bars. Tonight, we take a look back at our history to improve upon our future. It's a Good for Utah special report.
We first told you about a huge backlog in DNA testing.
The evidence from thousands of sexual assault cases.
A shocking discovery.
Thousands of untested rape kits sit in evidence rooms.
Clear a backlog of thousands of untested rape kits.
That ended up being so common, it became the white noise of the nation. The backlog of rape kits in police stations across America. But while some of those kits will eventually be processed, the evidence in others will never help lead to justice. That's because they were destroyed.
I just don't understand why we're asking victims to get a rape kit done if you're just going to take the kit and sit it on a shelf and it's going to collect dust, or you're going to destroy it and not test it. What is the point of making us go through that traumatic experience?
Brenda Tracy is a survivor turned rape kit crusader in Oregon. Her kit was destroyed before she was able to get up the courage to prosecute.
I was betrayed and failed by the system that was supposed to protect me. And unfortunately, there's nothing I can do about it except for change laws and make sure it doesn't happen to anyone else.
With her help, Oregon has begun to see sweeping reform. But for those types of changes to be made, local leaders must first realize there's a problem.
The way we historically approached sexual assault cases was itself, the methodology was flawed.
If you look at it, these are felonies, felony crimes where evidence had been destroyed. Evidence to never, you can never go back and get that evidence.
Everybody wants the clean-cut, slam dunk case. You know, you want the victim that's pure as the driven snow, but that's not the reality.
As you can see, leaders in Salt Lake County have come to the realization the way these cases were being handled in the past was not working.
I didn't dwell a lot on the how did we get here, because there was nothing that I could do to change the past. But what I could do was change our present and our future.
The movement in Utah began in 2013. Chief Lee Russo had just taken over at West Valley City when he noticed a disturbing rape kit pattern.
The investigator had a lot of latitude to make the decision as to whether or not they were going to destroy a kit or push a case forward.
From 2001 to 2011, 89 rape kits were destroyed in West Valley City, with reasons ranging from uncooperative victim to insufficient evidence. Chief Russo says that has changed under his leadership.
The only time we're going to destroy a kit is when the case is absolutely done, the appeals process is over, and there's no more there's no more evidentiary value in the kit.
Then, 1 year ago, the Salt Lake City Council addressed the same issue with its police force.
We kind of went back to the drawing board. We went back and we looked across the country and we brought in some of the experts in this field.
From 2004 to 2012, 163 kits were destroyed in Salt Lake. Only 39 were tested before they were thrown out. Unfortunately, one woman in Salt Lake had the same experience as Brenda Tracy. Several years after her kit was processed, she got the courage to prosecute, but her kit was gone.
We should have kept it. We should have. And in talking with the district attorney's office and the victim, we made a mistake. Yeah. We destroyed it, and you can't get it back.
Chief Mike Brown hopes to never put another victim in that position. So he's now taking the same approach as West Valley.
I have made the decision that we will not destroy any more rape kits, none whatsoever. In fact, we will send everything to the state crime lab for testing.
The destruction of these kits came as somewhat of a shock to Salt Lake County District Attorney Sim Gill.
We weren't aware, at least the district attorney's office, about the historical numbers that were sitting in different law enforcement agencies that had not been tested or had been destroyed, or decisions had been made about not processing those cases forward.
He says he found out just months after taking office.
So in 2011, one of the things that our office did was to introduce a letter which we sent out to all law enforcement, local law enforcement in Salt Lake County, outlining a process and a methodology for the retention and destruction of evidence.
His letter basically says There are very few cases in which a rape kit should be destroyed. The reason? Research shows a rapist will have an average of 6 victims. DNA evidence is one of the best ways to get these serial offenders off the streets. The more DNA entered into the national database, the better.
So what we're really talking about is learning from our mistakes and looking in a positive way going forward with a very hopeful outcomes.
Survivors, like Brenda, say the best way to move forward is to submit every rape kit every time.
This is how we find serial rapists. This is how we keep our communities safe.
Brenda helped get a law on the books in Oregon. Now she says Utah should do the same thing.
And you get a rape kit done, it should be tested, period, end of story.
According to the FBI, Utah's rape statistics have been higher than the national average for 25 years. Researchers say it's the only violent crime in our state that is above the national average. Now, there are several advocates here in Utah who would like to see a law on the books, just like what was created in Oregon. One of those advocates is Representative Angela Romero. And a statement today, she says, quote, "This needs to be a top priority to everyone in our state for public health and public safety. I will work closely with my colleagues to make sure this happens. It's our duty as elected officials to ensure that all rape kits are tested in a timely manner. I am committed to creating policy that will enact this change." Now, Romero also says community involvement is the best way to get any policy passed. If you would like to see a law about rape kits on the books, contact your local representative. We have put a link to where you can do that on this story at goodforutah.com.